How we doing, guys? It's Friday night, and I'm sure a lot of you are currently out playing Friday Night Magic somewhere in the world. I've just got back in from Friday Night Magic, and it did not go well. I ended up leaving before the end of the draft. I got a bye in the last round because I hadn't won any of my other games. So I have left a capable friend to draft my rares, and headed home to do some more MTGO. The first pack is pretty interesting, to be honest. I mean, I could make an argument for all three uncommons and the rare. This is probably my favourite card from the booster, but I don't necessarily think it's the best. I think the rare gets it, and in case we can get into the populate mechanic, and technically we're more likely to see the mage. So we're going to take her. This Staticaster is a good surprise, and the Pyro Convergence is great if you can get an Izzet deck on the go. Okay, so the rare's missing from this pack, and we've got a Rites of Reaping, another Pyro Convergence. Now you cast a multicolour spell, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Now, this probably doesn't get first, second or third pick, to be honest. But I think as the set gets bigger and we move into Guild Pack and whatever the third option is, then this is only going to get more powerful. It'll be interesting to see how they do the drafts. In terms of what I want to pick here, so far I'm obviously looking to be green-white in order to play this guy, but that's not set in stone. Going with this booster, I'm definitely going to take the Eyes in the Skies, because it's white, it can go into any white deck, and it populates. So it's a strong card. It's my pick here. It also pairs well with the Wayfaring Temple because it's a 2-for-1. Now this is interesting because there is a rare and an uncommon missing from this pack. So this is getting picked third, and in my eyes this is not a third pick card. So either the rare and the uncommon were exceptionally good, or someone sitting to my right is willing to pass very strong Azurius, which is probably going to lead me certainly to pick the Azurius card this time round. The cards that would be good for me in terms of being a populate deck are obviously the Herald and the Knightly Valor. Both of these are common, I'm more likely to see them again, but I'm surprised I'm getting past this. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. It also synergises quite well if I do want to go 3-colour, because white and blue pair and white and green pair. This pack's slightly less interesting. We've got another blue flyer, which is good. He's got the evasion, and we've got an armory guard, who's not bad. I try not to play this guy, but if I'm running, if I don't have many 4-drops, he certainly makes a grade, and if I don't have any walls or anything, I can see him getting put in. However, for the time being, I do want to continue with the populate mechanic and see how I go. So we're probably going to take the Centaur's Herald here. I mean, the Staticaster's good again. He's a surprise, and he really hurts my 1-1 flyers. So we have a Hussar Patrol, which is probably about right to be seen at this stage of a draft. You know, it's a bad booster if you open and this is your first pick. In terms of what I'll be taking, we have 3 options. We can go for another Herald, a Tristani's Judgment, or a Chorus of Might. You can make an argument for all of these for this deck. The Chorus of Might, I don't know if any of you watched draft number 10, but this swung 2 games in my favour, and the deck I had was very bad and I still got to the finals, probably because of the strength of this card. But at this stage I cannot pass on removal, and the only thing that I'm guaranteed right now is that I'm going to try and be playing white, because it goes, whether I go to Selesnya or Azorius, I want to be playing white. So this pack gets slightly less interesting. The decoy is a strong pick here, particularly if I can get lots of token generators, because they all get through, and getting damage through is fantastic. I mean, he's a 4 mana 2/2 with a 5 mana scavenge, which isn't terrible. There are worse cards in it, but although he doesn't have any evasion of his own, he effectively gives the rest of your guys evasion. The other cards of interest for me here are the Guildgate and the Monitor, but at this stage we take the decoy. So the Centaur's Herald here is here again, or we can take the flying removal, or we can run the Vassal Soul, who's got evasion. He's a 2 mana 2/2 flyer. I suspect I will see these two guys again, and I'll probably see the Centaur again as well, to be honest. But at this stage I want to take the Centaur over either of these two, because he makes a token, which is what I want to be doing. Now we get to the stuff I'm unlikely to play. Archweaver, 7 mana 5/5, he's heavy green. I'm not a fan of him in general. Anything over 6 to me is too expensive, although it is a limited format, so it's far from impossible. The only other option is the armour, which pairs really well with other armours and does well with the white enchantments like Knightly Valour and Security Blockade, which I'm going to be trying to pick up. So we're going to go ahead and take that. We'll take the Armoury Guard in here. I expected that to wheel. See what I said, both these cards are good and both of them are wheeled. Trust me guys, take note, this card is only going to get better. In terms of what I'm going to take here, this guy doesn't scare me particularly much. This guy can be scary. I guess we take the guy that I will possibly play. So we've got an Armoury Guard or a Dramatic Rescue. We're really not too strong on blue. We didn't get past an awful lot of strong Azorius. So we're going to take the Guard, take the Cancel, take the Shadow. These guys are under-drafted, I feel. He's difficult to kick off, but I've never seen it work online. But live, this guy has caused me no end of problems. So I'm relatively happy to take this as a 13th pick, purely to prevent anyone else from taking it. We are going to hide it though, because there's a very minute chance we'll play black. We're probably not going to be playing blue either if we keep getting past this sort of stuff. So far I am looking quite tokeny, but even if we're purely looking creature wise, this guy gets ridiculously strong. If only there were a way to give him trample. So, okay, this is not a great pack for us. The Havoc Festival is not playable, not in this format anyway. Maybe there's a constructed deck out there that loves this card. I can't imagine it though. The Lifelink Haste guy, who's not our friend. The Street Spasm, who's definitely not our friend. Tablet of the Guilds. There's nothing really that populates, nothing that synergises well. It's just unfortunate sometimes you open boosters like that. We could take either of these, the Druid's Deliverance, the Monitor or the Vassal Soul. I think they'll come back round. Sometimes you do have to think about cards that you don't want to get played against you though. And this with its overload, if they cast it for 3 with its overload cost, it kills my game with my Centaurs. It's just, there's not much I can do about that. So I'm going to take it to prevent anyone else from taking it. The other cards of note in that pack were the Stab Wound and the Electricity, because they both cause issues as well. Now we're probably going to pick up the General here, and hope to see some more token generators. The Dryad Militant, I think I've said before, he's a 2-1 for 1. His ability, or his passive ability, doesn't really do anything in this format. I suppose it screws over a Death Rate Shaman, but other than that, it doesn't do much. So, do we take another decoy here? I guess we could, or we get another Judgment, which I like. The Monitor, the Giant Growth. I think we go ahead and take the Judgment here. If I'm going to be going white and green, then the removal's limited. It really is going to be Tristani's Judgment or Avenging Arrow. And although it's late game, I can certainly run 2 of them. And it populates. So we've got a Goblin Ooze. I got excited there and thought that was a Slime Molden. Unfortunately not. I've seen a really interesting deck with these guys though, and I'm probably going to do a Swiss at some point and deliberately try and draft this deck, which I would never ever suggest anybody ever does. Go into a draft with the intention of doing something, hence why it will be a Swiss draft. So our options here are the Beetle or the Joe's Deliverance. I guess we go with the Deliverance for the populate mechanic. We really want to be seeing some more token generators. We seem to get better tokeny stuff when we were getting past stuff from the left, so there is at least another booster to come that will help us hopefully. And I'm going to hide this red card. Now the curve doesn't look too horrible. I've got way too many 1-drops just now, but the options here are the Combat Trick or the 5-4. I'm going to take the 5-4. If you fail to get the guys that populate, then you need beaters. We will see more Horncrawlers, I am sure. I know I've passed at least one Stab Wound, so I do want to have some sort of way to get rid of enchantments. The Gatekeeper's nice, but at the end of the day that's all he really is. I would rather pay an extra mana for a Borderland Ranger. So I'm going to take the Growth in this pack. There's a Knightly Valor, that will do us. The Stab Wound has came quite far around the table. The art in that is pretty good as well. I mean, that woman actually looks like she's in pain. This pack's actually really quite strong. You can make an argument for everything in it except from this. I'm definitely going to take the token generator though. The Chorus of Might is interesting. Hopefully I will pick one of them up at some point. And these guys are also not bad cards. But the Valor is the guy that synergizes with the deck, so he's the guy we take. Now we get nothing. So when there is absolutely nothing for you, you're looking to think about what is best for your opponent or what causes you the most trouble. So I have never seen this played in a draft before. This guy's played often, but he's not that big a deal. I mean, being on like a 15 turn clock with a guy that pings you is nothing. This guy is probably the biggest threat, so I'm going to take him. Now we have our original booster, a Tablet of the Guilds. I've drafted this before, it's never ever seen play. I have played this, so we're going to take this guy, the Pithing Needle. So I'm really not enamoured with the rare. The Jailbreaker's a tough card guy to get through, so we'll take him. The Doorkeeper pairs well with this guy. That's what the deck's based on, really. The Chronic Floodings, the Doorkeepers, Psychic Spiral, and if you can get the enchantment, that's great. The Goblin Ooze, if he trample, yes, he doesn't. Let's go with the armour. The big guy, the wee guy, and the planes. So we're really looking for some strong Selesnya in this pack. Even just another 2 or 3 token generators, I would be quite happy. Ooh, interesting. There is next to nothing from it. There's no bombs for me in this pack. Primal Surge is a nice combat trick. Common Bond's a nice combat trick. The Azuris isn't nice. I've got 3 armours already. The Overgrown Tomb is a valuable card. It probably pays for a draft on its own, I would imagine. So it's not going to get past. This is the other card you need for the mill combo, but we're not playing that. So the Foil Overgrown Tomb is going to be the pick here. I'm glad there wasn't like a V2 Gazzy Guild Mage or anything silly in that pack, because that would have been painful. So what do we have of interest here? The Mana Bloom is not so strong. In fact, it's just bad. I don't rate it at all. The Nivix Guild Mage, I totally disliked this Guild Mage until it got played effectively against me. And the guy in Action Injunctioned like 3 of my guys in 1 turn. It was just a painful turn. Augur Spree strong, not in my colour. Eyes in the Skies has got to be the pick here. The Judgment's good, I've already got 2 of them though. And hey, a 2 for 1 pairs well with this guy. Phantom General makes him stronger. Most importantly, it makes tokens. If you're going to make the deck, you need to pick the cards. Just checking I had pressed record, because I've done that before. We can still be getting past some good uncommons here. I'm still hoping for a Conclave or a Selesnya Charm. Ooh, now this is a pick. Excuse me. Do we go with the Knightly Valor, the Eyes in the Skies, or the Centaur? Well, it's not the Centaur, because late game he's not as strong as either of these. Eyes in the Skies is good, it's a 2 for 1. To be honest, see if I run the Knightly Valor, I'm probably going to run some of these. Purely because they get so disgusting. On a bird token, they get disgusting. What am I more likely to see again? I guess the Knightly Valor is more likely to table than the bird is. So let's take the birds and hope to see another Knightly Valor. Awesome. Fantastic, that's just what I wanted to happen there. In terms of what I'm passing, this charm is not brilliant. The Thrillkill Assassin, this isn't brilliant either. Rakdos tends to get a great start and then it fades away once the game stabilises. I've played games against Rakdos decks where my opponent's got me on 4 or 5 health on turn 4, but after that it's been a landslide for me, because regardless of what deck I'm in, you've hit that stabilisation period where all his guys are 2/2s and 3/3s and I've just dropped, this guy, 1/4, he's such a strong 2-drop. But my pick here is either the Indrik or the Knightly Valor, and we're going to go with the Valor. It makes a guy. My opponent's obviously not playing red, to the right of me anyway, because that's an Augur Spree we've been past, and a Bloodfray Giant, which is just strong. There was an Annihilating Fire in the last booster as well, so we have to assume someone to my left is playing red, and he's going to be pretty happy. I'm just glad I didn't pass that Street Spasm. Now we've got Rootborn Defences or the token guy. This Rootborn Defences is mine. It's just so strong. Oh yes, there's the good uncommon we were waiting to get. Slime Molding finds a home in any green deck, but particularly a token deck. So we'll snap that up. Now we have passed a couple of stab wounds, so having this in the main deck, this is more likely to see the main deck than this is. And that's going to interfere with my 1-drops. So yeah, we're going to take the Keening Apparition. We're not really passing anything broken there. The Inaction Injunction is unfortunate to pass, but hey, sometimes you've got to pass it. The Chorus of Might finds its home in my deck. I don't need another one of these. Nothing else in here scares me particularly. This guy is a bit of a pain in the neck to play against early, so we're just going to take him. We'll take another Chorus of Might. I'm sure a lot of you are experienced and you can see how that worked, but just in case there's people out there who aren't so sure about the value of cards, if you remember, this is the pack where I had the choice of an Eyes in the Skies or a Nightly Valor, and I chose the Eyes in the Skies because this is more likely to come back round. You should be doing that with all your picks, because especially at the start of a pack, you will have the opportunity to pick 1, 2 or maybe 3 cards, and you should always go with the one that's the least likely to be seen again, and not just based on the rarity, based on the ability. For example, if you pass an Augur Spree, it's not going to come round to you again. It's just too strong a card. And all cards have a value like that, it just depends on what it is. So Eyes in the Skies was the right pick in that pack, because I was fairly confidently this would table, because in general this finds a home in every white deck. This only really finds a home in token decks. So, strategic decision that paid off. This similar thing with the Chorus of Might. It is a good combat trick, but you really have to have a lot of creatures on board for it to be effective. So it's a card that you can expect to see at the later stages of a draft. So I was right in my assumptions that the guy to my right would be passing token generators, and I'm glad, because it was looking a bit shaky at pack 2. Pack 2 was slightly scary. Now the issue with this deck, we're definitely going to have at least 2 Nightly Valor. We're definitely going to have 1 Chorus of Might, a Decoy, Slime Molding, Temple Guy. The issue with this deck is it curves pretty badly. Most of it happens on turn 4. I would ideally have liked to have gotten maybe 2 security, sentry blockades, or not even uncommons, center healers or something, just so I could curve out. Whereas a lot of my starting hands are going to have 4-drops. Creature wise, it's not brilliant either. I mean, most of the guys make guys, which is good, that's what I was going for, but in terms of actual bodies, I usually like to play at least 12. I don't even have that capability in this deck, which is really unfortunate, because if he board wipes, then potentially we've got nothing to start again from, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So I've still got 3 spaces in my deck. This guy's not worth splashing blue for. I mean, to reliably be able to cast him, you'd need to run probably 3 or 4 blue, and that's just going to mess up the rest of your mana. So, in the same token, we don't want... What went in there? The other Knightly Valor. Okay. So that's 3 enchantments. These are going to be strong. I'm tempted to add the Armoury Guards in, just because my creature base without the tokens is quite low. He's another 4-drop though. No, let's run this and see how it goes. We have got double green, so we probably just want a bit of an even split here, to be honest. I'm going to go and say we're favouring white, so that gets the extra one. And that's going to be it. This, I suppose, could maybe get squeezed into the deck. There's not many combat tricks. This is a combat trick of sorts, but it's more either for you to make a bigger guy out of one that you've already got, or to replace one that's just about to die or whatever. This is a one-sided battle, but there's not many combat tricks, so we can make an argument for this going in, but it would mean taking out a token generator, a populate mechanic, or a guy, and I really can't afford to lose any of them. These guys will get sideboarded in if I'm really struggling for creatures. As it stands, that's the deck we're going to play, and we will see you in game 1.